Hello everyone, this is Aanchal here, and today in this conversation, I have with me a friend of mine, Shubham Dumbre, who happens to be the founder of Delta the Innovators. We have an interesting story behind. Like I met him online, virtually, and today we're talking about all about tech. And I think technology has played a major part in us meeting, and also, Shubham has been involved actively in technology, in bringing people together because of technology. And recently, he has come up with his second book, which is Let's Make IT Simple. Even though we do not belong to technology, we feel like we need it in our daily lives. And especially in COVID, it has been a demand, a necessity for all of us out there. I do not want to talk and take a lot of time here. I will let Shubham talk about it more. So, Shubham, tell me this very first thing. You wrote your second book. Tell us about a little bit about your first book also, because people will be curious after this question. So, what was the idea behind Let's Make IT Simple? And when I read the title, I also feel like it's Let's Make It Simple. So, how should we pronounce it?
You are very smart. You asked me a lot of questions together. So,
Yes.
like, I'll come in the anti chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it Let's Make IT Simple, or also call it Let's Make It Simple. So, any which ways, my central idea with this book is being conveyed to you in a very precise format. Let's Make IT Simple is like, let's make information technology simple, and let's make it simple. We'll say your life will be simple with technology. So, any which ways you go, the other way around, it's the same. So you can pronounce it as you want. I call it LMITS to be very short. And yes, I prefer calling it Let's Make IT Simple. Now, coming to the next part of the question, like what actually inspired me to write this second one. And before that, my first book, Decoding Zindagi, it was a poetry which had my expressions in a documented format. So it is also available on podcasts and like as an ebook. So you could definitely check it out. Talking about this one specially, let's make IT simple. Now, this book is an attempt to cover around 2,500 plus resources, IT resources, which could be beneficial for everyone. Now, just think about this, that someone who's in a rural area is not able to like pay those heavy subscription fees, which is being charged by proprietary softwares. If he
Mm-hmm.
or she wants to learn something, they are not able to like learn because of lack of resources, lack of funds. Or you can also imagine some entrepreneur who wants to like give ideas a reality. This person also wants to try out a lot of stuff, but he's not able to go for those subscriptions or pay those kind of fees or charges to these big companies. Now I just thought of this problem, that how can I somehow empower these people by giving them that technology, that platform, that tool to enhance their challenges, enhance their ideas. So I thought of like figuring out some challenges. I started listing down a lot of challenges, what they face, and also trying to find out such solutions, like how can they solve their problems on their own. I figured out that at initially I was trying to find around 100 tools which could be helpful. I reached to 500, then 1000, then 2000, and now it is even beyond 2500. So in Let's Make IT Simple, there are 30 distinct chapters which are segregated as per the use case, as per the features of those tools and tech. And these resources are both proprietary and also like free ones, open source ones. So,
Mm-hmm.
according to your complexity of the problem that you're trying to solve, you could implement these tools. Now, this whole idea has a lot of permutations and combinations, Achal, I know. And it is huge to like talk about this in this format. But definitely, like if you even listen to the podcast which I have released about Let's Make IT Simple, it is available on Amazon Music or Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, on all major platforms. So you would get to know the need to be aware about these softwares, which could definitely save a lot of bucks to you. And yes, you could have enhanced productivity, powerful tools to like complete your tasks. So that was the major idea, to like empower people with technological tools which can save them money and give them that power to create and ideate and bring ideas to reality for the betterment of mankind.
That's really amazing, Shubham. And I feel you have given a lot of contributions to mankind because us, like especially the youngsters, crave for these kind of resources where we don't have to even pay a lot, but also get benefited from it at the same time. So amazing.
Thank you.
And like this brings me to the next question. Do you feel that all these free resources, all the open source resources which you spoke about, are capable enough to cater to the needs of the people? Or do you feel like paid versions are overrated, or at some point of time you will need them also? Like, what's your take on it?
See, like Aanchal, like to edit photographs, you must be using some tool, right?
Yeah.
Now, in free or open source tools, you would find a tool named as GIMP, GNU Image Manipulation Program. Now, this tool is a very advanced tool to edit photographs, edit images, heavy images, which are even captured by advanced cameras and all. Now,
Mhm.
this tool is free of cost in the field of open source, in the field of free softwares. If you talk about animation, now for animations, we generally use high-end softwares which are like super heavy in terms of their animation stuff, and also like they charge you good in terms of money, subscription fees, what they call it. Now there's a free alternative to it, that is Blender. Blender is a tool which is used by many big animation studios to create animation and stuff, creative aspects. And also, like if you want to edit a video, now many a times we see that there are free softwares, but they come up with low quality if you just render it free of cost, or like they will give you some kind of a watermark. Now we generally don't prefer such kind of stuff, right? We don't like watermarks or someone else like deteriorating the quality of the video that we are creating. With open source, with free softwares, you can create your video even in 4K, and that too free of cost, without any watermark. With the tools like DaVinci Resolve or like Video Shot, it is all possible. So my thing is that it's not that proprietary softwares are bad, or like open source are only the ones which are good. I'm just giving you that perspective, that aspect, that guys, there are also other tools which are lying in the market. Probably not everyone is aware about it, just because of like lack of awareness, or like people were not educated about it before. I'm trying to
Mhm.
educate people about these tools so that they can choose what fits their case, what fits their condition, and go ahead with such kind of a resource. Now, these examples which I gave you were very simple ones. But like with every such tool which could be helpful, like very good example, like when I was going through some work, I got a call from one of my friends, and he was like, Shubham, my WinZip subscription has expired and I'm not able to extract a zip file. Now, this was a problem statement which came to me. I thought of something that won't like go off after 21 days, because WinZip generally it gives you that 21 days free subscription, and then you have to pay them some subscription fees. So I said go for 7-zip. So when he tried 7-zip, the same archive file was like extracted free of cost, and 7-zip is not going to like take away the license in 21 days. So this was a win-win situation for him. And 7-zip was from the free softwares, was from the open source clan. So
Yeah.
this is the beauty with open source. This is the beauty with free softwares, that there is no limit as such in terms of the possibilities that you can create with open source. And that is the reason I'm advocating to use free softwares, open source softwares, along with the proprietary ones wherever needed.
That's again like a very impressive work, and you like speak so highly about all these resources, and this makes me very curious. Like, I'm damn sure there must be a lot of experimentation, a lot of failures also. You were not succeeded every time you tried a like new free resource. So how much time did you actually take for like curating these kind of resources for all of us? How much time did you like take out on a daily basis also? Do you take out some time from your day? Because I believe there are a lot of failures and successes through the process. So what's your process?
Yeah. So now this question made me a little nostalgic, because it reminded me of my very initial days when I was in my engineering. In
Hmm.
my first and second year of engineering, I was exposed towards open source and free software tools.
Yeah.
And in our syllabus also, we were just like, it was just a small paragraph about open source and free softwares. The rest was all about proprietary ones. So I said, what is this aspect? Like, what are these tools? So what exactly can be done in terms of finding these tools? So I was very curious to find out what is the truth. Like, why are these softwares not known to everyone? And while researching on these tools, I found that some had security issues, some were like not updated regularly because of lack of funds, or some tools were like very good but were like not marketed well. Now, these were some challenges which I saw, that these tools are not like much known to people. So I thought of like making a list on my own. So I started finding out tools for my stuff. Like I'm a creative person, so I started to find tools which could help me create posters or like banners for like college fests, then edit videos, then go towards writing blogs. Now, when I started categorizing these resources, I figured out that there is an alternative to each and every tool that we regularly use. You think of any tool, like for example, you use Microsoft Office or Google Docs, there is LibreOffice. So LibreOffice is a complete alternative to Microsoft Office, which has a word processor, which has a presenter like PowerPoint, and which also has a spreadsheet like Excel. And it also has other tools like Access and Publisher and all what we have in Microsoft with some other names, but yes, the similar functionalities. I was like, wow, this is completely free, and I don't even have to like worry about the file formats because I can easily like save it as an Excel file even if I work it out in that particular software. So this really was an alarming moment for me, that definitely like there is a huge scope in this particular aspect. And now even today, now the new generation is like counting on open AI or what we just
Yeah.
saw with chat GPT. So what are all these tools? These are like free resources, open source resources, which are like further researched and like have got the backing from investors now to go ahead with such kind of a knowledge base, because it like not everyone can afford such resources, not everyone can go with subscription based tools. So how about giving the resources to someone who has ideas, probably is lacking with funds, but if we give them those tools, can create wonderful solutions. So that's how this whole journey has been, and around 5 to 6 years for me, since my early days, it has been like a regular practice. I generally like on weekends study about the newer tools which come into the market, because technology is an undefined analogy, I would say, and it goes on updating again and again. So like how we have our software updates on our mobile phones, application updates on a mobile phone. Similarly, tech also keeps on updating regularly. So I enjoy this process. I really like to like learn about newer tools, know what are the bugs in the previous ones, how to solve it. So it's a very interesting exercise. For this one, let's make IT simple. It took me around 5 to 6 years to complete this whole book, and it has 2,500 plus resources. So
Yeah.
definitely, like it's a handbook, a worthy handbook that could help any entrepreneur, any student who is sitting even in a rural area, or an aspiring person who wants to do something in life, wants to freelance, want to start something of his or her own. So this book is to empower anyone who has ideas, wants technology to benefit him or her in a better manner.
Amazing. Like in such a short duration, you have mentioned so many resources, and that tells how passionate you are about this entire journey. And also, one of the key takeaways is like we come across a lot of difficult situations, we see a lot of problems, but there are only few people who actually do something about it. So, thank you for being one among those few people and like curating this for us. But
Welcome.
like, tell me this, like, so many platforms, so many softwares, and you are a multitasker. So, how many resources out of these do you use on a regular basis? Like, if someone has to be practical, there are a lot of things available there, but how many of these do you use on a regular basis?
Yeah, like I was expecting this one from you for sure,
Yeah,
because like many people feel that yes, there is a lot that is available in the market, but what is actually useful? This
yeah.
is a very important question, and like I'll give you precise examples about it. So generally for browsing, we use Google Chrome. I use DuckDuckGo. It's a like security layer, you could call. It comes as an extension for Google Chrome, but it can also be used as a browser on your mobile phones. So DuckDuckGo is completely private. It won't like track you. It won't like save your information or history or anything of that sort. So you're safe in terms of like using DuckDuckGo as a web browser. Again, there's a Brave browser which can be used for like browsing the web. Talking about Office, so yes, you could use LibreOffice as I mentioned already. There are also other offices like Apache, OpenOffice, and some other office tools, but I prefer LibreOffice because it has got most of the functionalities which are similar to Microsoft Office.
Mhm.
Then for image editing, I have already given you GIMP. There is also Pinta, a alternative to Paint, which can be used on a regular basis in terms of creativity. For editing videos and all, DaVinci Resolve, Blender, these are very popular tools. For editing audio stuff, I use Audacity. Then yes, in terms of the operating system itself, like on we generally know Windows or Mac, right? But
Yeah.
there's Ubuntu, Kali Linux, Debian OS, Parrot OS, CentOS, etc. Now all these are like very popular names in terms of programming communities for like developers like us, who are really like active in terms of open source. So like with Kali Linux you can go ahead with ethical hacking. With like Debian, CentOS, you are like very safe in term very safe hands. There won't be any virus that would enter into your system. So I have a system, my personal system is actually loaded with Ubuntu, the latest one, and it is like full of such tools, full of such softwares. For like even archive files I use 7-zip, pzip, and for burning ISO files there are like other tools. So a lot of tools, like I have a bunch of tools, productive tools, which actually help me in my regular working process. And yes, to stream live events also I use Streamlabs OBS. This is also a very important tool because like streaming is an activity which requires a lot of like stuff in terms of the interface, in terms of the dashboard, in terms of the tools and tech. But Streamlabs OBS really like helps in terms of casting such kind of heavy events where participants are humongous.
Yeah.
So that's about the tools and tech that I generally use.
It's fascinating. Wow. I mean, one cannot imagine that something like this is already there because we do not hear about it enough. And I must let all our listeners, all our audiences know that, like, in my conversation with Shubham, I have been so much educated and being taught because he always try to tell people that, okay, if you're using this, there is also an alternative because he knows that we are not aware of it. That I have developed this kind of mindset that if I'm using something called A, I will definitely think about, is there a better alternative B, which is like less costlier, less this. And like I think the main thing which we all focus is on the payment side, on the pricier side. So you have opened a lot of arenas for a lot of people, a lot of content creators also, a lot of people who try to experiment but are not able to do that. There is no barrier, there is no such kind of hurdle in between after all of this. Amazing, Shubham. And what's next? Please tell me what's next because you have already written a self help come a poetry book. You have written a technical book. You have been there everywhere on all platforms with your podcast, with your YouTube channel. What is next? Please tell.
Again, an interesting question. So, like, yes, now I happen to be a man with a mission. So, as I already like discussed about it with you all, that my task is to like reach out to every budding entrepreneur, with every student who wants to learn something, with every person who has ideas and wants to create something of his or her own, and give them this power of free softwares, of open source resources, so that they can try out their ideas. Like we cannot predict whether all ideas would be successful or not, but even if there's a slight chance that some ideas might be really helpful for everyone, for the benefit of society, I want to give it a try. I'm not just looking at in terms of monetary aspects, but the kind of impact that it can create. Even if like in thousands of ideas one idea succeeds, with the kind of tools and tech I am able to help people with, I'm done. Like that would be the bestest moment in my life, that I am able to contribute to something that is benefiting the society. And I could say that this is the best way to repay back the society
Yeah.
by imparting knowledge. And the best part which I learned in this whole journey is that the power of sharing is the best. Like it gives you more and more. The more you share, the more you get. So I have no hesitation in saying that you should use this rather than this if you have so and so problem. And that is what I like. I'm happy about that. I am able to consult people. I'm able to guide people to come out of their challenges, to solve their problems. And this is the beauty with technology, that it simplifies your life. That is the title, that is the idea of my startup, Delta the Innovators. So at Delta the Innovators, we are regularly like trying to educate people in terms of free resources, open source resources, and are also like giving them the ways to figure out their problems. We are trying to solve different problems in various sectors. And yes, I look forward to meet more and more incredible people like you, Anchal, with whom I could also like get a wonderful learning experience. And yes, together, when we blend our experiences, we can come up with something worth that could impact society, that could help our nation to go ahead and benefit everyone who's around. Thank you.
Such an amazing vision. Such an amazing vision. Wow. I mean, I am already very, very proud of you, but I cannot wait to see what all you do in future. Because at this tender age, at this very starting age, you have been doing a lot, and also with that, you have been contributing a lot. So this has been a great journey so far, and it will be an even more amazing journey ahead. So tell me this very last question, very short question. If someone wants to reach out to you, if someone wants to learn about it, because I'm definitely sure a lot of us are curious, how should we reach out to you? Where can you reply, help? What's the smartest platform to reach out to you?
So I personally prefer LinkedIn. On LinkedIn,
Okay.
you could find me by my name, Shubham Dumbre. Or also, like, I also happen to have a YouTube channel by the name Delta the Innovators. And additionally, like, if you like want to get in touch with me, you could just give me an email by the name ishubhamdumbre@gmail.com. And yes, I'm available on all platforms, guys, major platforms. So you could reach out to me via any platform. I'll be there to answer you. I want you guys to reach out to me in case you have some ideas, in case you want to try out something but are lacking because of lack of technical expertise. Don't worry, I'm here to help you.
Wow, that's Shubham Dumbre. That's my dear friend. Yay! I'm happy. I'm very happy with this conversation. And thank you so much for being so unfiltered. You have spoken a lot about platforms, and who are curious, they will pause and they will definitely make notes that, okay, this is available, that is available. And yeah, we'll definitely explore more about these. But thank you for having this conversation, for being here and sharing your insights, Shubham.
Thank you very much, Aanchal. It was, as always, a wonderful experience to interact with you. So thank you for having me here.
Amazing. Okay, see you. Bye bye.
Bye.